For more than a decade, the eagles of Decorah, Iowa have fascinated onlookers inside our state and around the world. But research on these raptors goes far beyond a 24/7 webcam.
A dedicated band of conservationists and wildlife specialists have been banding and placing wireless transmitters on juvenile eaglets for years, and they're not done yet. Iowa Outdoors spent another sunrise with the eagle capturing experts.
With a full moon overhead, a dedicated team of wildlife experts is putting the final touches on a pre-dawn trap. The intended target? One of the world-famous Decorah eaglets.
A little bit. You got it kind of nestled in where you want it? Or
yeah.
Are we going to have to move it to put fish on?
Brian from the fish hatchery has done an amazing job baiting the eagles. Took a little while this year, but finally they were more independent and relied on themselves to find food, and they started coming down to the area where we set our Patum trap, which is just a noose style trap where they get their feet tangled up in.
Just trying to get them upright,
Basically.
and making sure there's no kind of gaps in here, so no matter where they walk across the patum, they're going to catch something, a toe.
So we had a fish that was loose, kind of up more visible for the eagle to see, at least get their attention, get them down to our area where we had the trap.
Yeah, we don't want them to fly off with it.
Normally we can come out within a week, 2 weeks, we can get birds conditioned to come down to bait at that mulch pile that we've been very successful at over the years. For whatever reason, this year, these birds didn't want to get their own food. It just seemed like they would see the food there, be curious about it, start food bagging, and then expect the mom or dad eagle to go grab the fish and go back to the nest and feed them there.
After months of pre-baiting a trio of juvenile eaglets, the Decorah team is in place for sunrise at the fish hatchery and hopefully a hungry bird.
A lot of times they'll come in and circle over it, check out the situation, see if there are fish there, in fact, which I'm sure they knew from a distance. Yes. And this happens all the time too, where the bird goes in, grabs the fish. Rarely do they eat it right there early on. They'll want to hop back up onto the mulch pile with that fish. So they're trying to drag it. Well, it's not coming. It had a good foothold on the fish. It was moving the whole trap, but I did not see a noose anywhere on that bird's foot. No. Just wait. So you can't blow the opportunity. You have to make absolutely sure you've got at least one noose around a toe, a foot, or whatever before you go dashing across it, because if that bird is not caught, it takes off. It's now trap-wise. You'll have a very difficult time catching it again. She might be tangled. I see a noose that seems to be following her right tarsus, but we're going to wait until she struggles a bit. Oh, I think she's... Go. 625. As I'm heading toward the bird, it just came over me like, yeah, finally. Undoubtedly the female, just judging by the quick evaluation of the feet and tarsus size. It's always a thrill, every single time.
After another successful capture, Brett Mandernack and his team begin work on the next phase, safely attaching a transmitter to a very powerful bird.
641. 15.3.
She's a female, but she's not a particularly large one. I mean, even compared to other females, she's kind of middle of the road. Careful not to have any folds in the Teflon ribbon.
Along with his wife, Brett has mastered the delicate art of correctly sizing Teflon ribbon and a harness around eaglets still maturing into adulthood.
It was a process that we just developed over time, and with the stitching and the type of thread and the fabric of the ribbon and all of these things were just step by step. We learned how to do it better and better, and over time you get to get a feeling for how tight or how loose you need to have that transmitter and and the ribbons and, yeah, the stitching is just, I learned how to do that in 4-H.
The transmitter apparatus must be tight enough to not fall off in mid-flight, but not too restrictive that it could reduce the eagle's flying ability.
2+.
It's a delicate balance with knowledge gleaned from decades of working hands-on with the American bald eagle.
And then we're even going to put a little dab of super glue on the end of it, mostly just to keep the Teflon ribbon from unraveling, and also to dab a little bit of glue on the knots, make sure that they stay intact forever and ever. Because this bird will likely have this transmitter on for many, many years. It's probably, going to be with it a good part of its life, because Teflon ribbon is very durable. But there's no way to make a fall-off harness, after X number of years. It just is not, you can't do it.
With a harness in place and the solar battery transmitter functioning, the Eagle Dub D27 is ready for release back onto the Decorah Fish Hatchery grounds.
It comes down to sort of the fundamental question of, if you don't know what your species is doing, where it's traveling to and from, and when, under what conditions, you have to know the species in order to be a good steward of that species, know how to manage for it in the future and the present. The only way we can really learn these birds' travel behaviors is to put satellite transmitters on them. You can band them and release them. You get 1 point when you band it, you get 1 point when it's recovered, usually when it's dead. It doesn't add up to a whole lot of data.
Over the following 9 months, Brett tracked D27 throughout its travels from summer to fall and over the winter. His data shows D27 stayed along the eastern third of Iowa as it dipped south and back north over multiple months.
Here we get data on each bird every day. We can learn in some of the details, the minutia of migration behavior with satellite transmitters that you cannot get other ways. And multiple years is very important too.
There's been close to 30 eagles coming out of this nest here with these two Decorah eagles, mom and dad, and a lot of them are out there. We only know what's happened to a few of them based on the tracking studies that we've done. So it's valuable for the fans, and it's good research for Brett and crew.